nobody know my troubles but God. Don't nobody know my troubles but God.
First pillar is enforcement. This is the most obvious, perhaps, pillar. And this is where you'll have simply making drugs illegal and using police activity where necessary to impose legal sanctions on those who use illegal drugs. The second pillar is prevention. So that's providing education to people at a young age so that they understand the consequences of getting involved in drugs. And as well, any child protective services that remove children from households that would potentially make them susceptible to drug use later in life. Not only does that involve the obvious treatment, like counseling and those sort of things, but also methadone treatment, which is a little bit more avant-garde and a little bit more liberal, in that heroin users can be provided with subsidized methadone treatment to wean themselves off the drug. And this is the whole idea that, you know what, people are going to do it anyway, so let's just make sure that they are equipped with what they need to cause as less harm to themselves and to others, society, community, etc. So one form in which Canada embraces this pillar is through needle exchange. So they make sure that, you know, there are clinics and resources available in every major city so that heroin users can actually go to this location, pick up clean needles, so to minimize the spread of HIV and other bloodborne illnesses. And the newest proposed form of harm reduction is a safe injection site. And what this is, and it's been used in Europe, is an actual site where users can go, receive a kit with a clean needle and all the equipment they need, and then also use their drugs right there on site with a supervised nurse and other staff so that they can intervene when necessary in case of overdose or inappropriate use of drugs, for example. So this is the most liberal version of harm reduction that Canada is now trying to see if they can embrace, and the proposed safe injection site is called Insight. That the problem in the downtown east side is very urgent. I mean, the stats really speak for themselves. It's the poorest postal code in North America. 1/3 of the population is HIV positive, and over 500 people have died due to an overdose of drugs. So clearly something needs to be done. You're completely right, Alana. I mean, the stats do speak for themselves. But there are a couple things that have been done. One in particular is when the community got together and they all joined forces to hold 1,000 crosses. So what's really significant about this 1,000 crosses is the amount of lives that had been lost in the downtown east side due to addicts. And it did build a lot of media attention.
There are 3 guiding teams who support Insight: the Expert Advisory Committee, who analyze research on Insight for the Ministry of Health; the Vancouver Coastal Health, who are the local health authority that oversees and provides funding for Insight; and then the Portland Hotel Society, who are a non-profit housing society that provides housing for people in the downtown east side.
Satellites, I never dreamed that you'd be mine, but here we are, we're here tonight, singing, amen, I'm alive, singing, amen, I am alive.
It's pretty clear that this is an extremely controversial issue. So there's obviously going to be a number of critics that have genuine concerns about what these agencies are trying to propose. So one of the major critics is, of course, the taxpayers, who feel that their dollar is going to support supervised injection sites rather than other concerns that are more close to home, like better public education, highways, and infrastructure. Also, the healthcare providers feel that there's an ethical concern to giving people the proper equipment and sort of feeding into this idea of doing drugs in a safe way. The Conservative Party and the federal government also have concerns because they just don't believe the evidence that these types of supervised injection sites work, and also they feel that even if the research was true, how could they support this ideology of helping people do drugs. It's sort of something that they're very... And also the general public are going to have concerns about how this will be in the long term and just overall with what we're trying to push. There's two fundamental ways to really communicate buy-in to these credits. So the first fundamental way is to continue to remove the stigma. So what that means is, I know it's a little weird to wrap your head around the whole idea of facilitated voice. So we need to align ourselves with agencies, with the community. So perhaps Insight needs to build success stories through videos to create that buy-in. Another fundamental way that Insight can use to communicate buy-in is to make people understand the mechanics of what Insight really is and build awareness, make them more educated to see that, you know what, maybe this was really helping the people in downtown Insight.